Ladies and gentlemen, there will come a time in your life when everything you thought was stable will crumble, when what you built with your hands seems to be shattered by the very winds you thought you could control. It is in those moments, when life breaks you, that the true essence of your purpose is revealed. Being broken is not the end. In fact, brokenness is often the birthplace of destiny. Seeds do not grow until they are buried. Oil does not flow until the olive is crushed. Diamonds are not formed without pressure, and gold is not purified without fire. When life breaks you, it is not to destroy you, but to prepare you, to make you usable, powerful, and authentic. You see, too many of us want to be great without going through anything. We pray for purpose, but run from the process. But the truth is, pain is the classroom where purpose is taught. Life's breaking is not random, it is surgical. It cuts away what is unnecessary, unfaithful, and unfruitful, so that what remains is the real you, unshakable, focused, and full of vision. If you are in a season of breaking right now, let me encourage you. Don't despise it. Don't curse what's happening to it. Don't curse what's happening to you, in you. Because what breaks you can also build you. What crushes you can. So when life breaks you, lift your head. Heaven is up to something. Your tears are watering the soil of your next season. Your frustration is forging the fire of your future, and your breaking is just the beginning of your becoming. There is a hidden power in being broken that most people never discover. We live in a world that celebrates strength, perfection, and success, but it often overlooks the sacred space where true greatness is born, the place of pain. When life breaks you, whether through disappointment, betrayal, loss, or failure, it is not a sign that you are finished. It is often the evidence that you are being positioned for something greater. In fact, many times it is in the darkest moments of your life that the light of your purpose begins to shine. The crushing is not there to kill you, it is there to uncover you. Purpose is rarely revealed in comfort. It is in the furnace of affliction that the impurities of pride, fear, and self-reliance are burned away, leaving behind the pure essence of who you were created to be. When life shatters your expectations, it also shakes loose the false identities you may have built around status, possessions, or titles. What remains after the breaking is often the most honest, raw, and pure version of you. That version is where purpose begins. You stop pretending, you stop performing, and you start asking real questions about why you were born and what your life is truly meant to contribute. There are gifts and callings inside of you that only pressure can bring to the surface. Think of the seed. It looks small, insignificant, and lifeless until it is buried and broken. Only when the outer shell dies does the life inside emerge. That's what your brokenness does. It cracks the shell of who you thought you were so that the truth of who you really are can rise. Some of the most powerful leaders, innovators, healers, and visionaries the world has ever known were birthed through seasons of deep personal breaking. Their pain became their platform, and their wounds became the source of their wisdom. This is why you must not run from the breaking. You must allow it to teach you, shape you, and reveal you. Because on the other side of that pain is often the assignment you were born to fulfill. There are levels of clarity, creativity, and spiritual depth that you cannot access until you've been emptied. And when you're emptied, you can finally be filled with divine purpose, not man-made ambition. Brokenness clears the noise and awakens the voice of destiny inside of you. It is not the end, it's the unveiling of the beginning you never knew you needed. One of the greatest deceptions we often face during painful seasons is the belief that we are being punished. When things fall apart, when relationships collapse, when our prayers seem unanswered, the natural response is to question, what did I do wrong? But the truth is, pain is not always a sign of divine disapproval. It is often a tool in the hand of purpose. You are not being punished, you are being processed. There is a divine strategy behind every tear, every delay, and every closed door. Pain is the scalpel of the master surgeon. It cuts not to kill, but to heal, to shape, and to prepare. Process is never comfortable, but it is always necessary. You cannot walk into the fullness of your calling with immaturity, pride, or wounds you refuse to acknowledge. So life, in its wisdom, allows certain pressures to surface those issues. The process of pain brings to light what you might have hidden, ignored, or justified. It is in the process that your character is refined, your motives are purified, and your vision becomes clear. Clear comes clear. Just like a potter must apply pressure to the clay to shape it into something valuable, so must your life undergo divine pressure to form what eyes have not yet seen. Pain stretches you in ways comfort never could. It pushes you beyond your limits, confronts your fears, and introduces you to the deeper dimensions of your potential. When you are in pain, you listen more carefully, you pray more sincerely, and you become more aware of your need for divine strength. In other words, pain makes you teachable. And teachability is the soil where transformation grows. There are certain revelations about who you are and who God is that only emerge in the valley. The mountaintop teaches celebration, but the valley teaches dependence. Independence births power. Many people abort the process because they mislabel the pain. They think it's rejection when it's actually redirection. They think it's failure when it's formation. But if you understand that pain is a divine process, you will endure it differently. You will stop asking, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this preparing me for? The moment you see your pain as preparation, you reclaim your power. The fire that was meant to destroy you becomes the very thing that forges your future. Pain is never wasted when it's placed in the hands of purpose. There is no greatness without crushing. We admire the finished product, leaders who stand with power, voices that shake nations, individuals who walk in clarity and confidence, but we often overlook the process that produced them. True greatness does not come from applause, titles, or talent alone. It is born through crushing, through seasons where what is on the outside is broken open so that what is on the inside can be released. Just like the olive must be crushed to release the oil, so must you be pressed if what's inside you is going to serve others. Inside you is going to serve others. The anointing, the wisdom, the strength people see, it only flows after the crushing. Every person who carries something significant has a story of pain behind their power. The crushing season tests what you're made of. It forces you to confront yourself and everything you thought you knew. It strips away the masks, the shallow ambitions, and the need for validation, and it brings you face to face with your true identity. This is where the transformation happens. You don't become great by being comfortable. You become great by surrendering to the process. Crushing removes the unnecessary and concentrates your essence. Your purpose becomes clearer, your voice more refined, and your heart more grounded. The crushing is also protection. If the oil were released too early, it would be wasted. If you stepped into certain opportunities or platforms before the crushing, the weight would crush you instead of your circumstances. The crushing prepares you to carry what you've been called to release. It matures you. It gives you compassion. It deepens your integrity. It teaches you that greatness is not about being known, it's about being prepared to serve, to lead, and to impact with purity and power. The road to greatness is paved with pressure, but that pressure is the womb of purpose. There is nothing accidental about the breaking in your life. It may feel chaotic, painful, or unexpected, but it is not without purpose. Life does not break you at random. Your breaking is surgical. It is a divine operation designed to remove what you cannot take into your next season. Sometimes you don't even realize how attached you've become to things that no longer serve your destiny. Relationships, habits, environments, and even mindsets that feel familiar can become a prison when it's time to grow. So breaking becomes the strategy heaven uses to separate you from what you wouldn't let go of on your own. Strategic breaking often exposes your dependencies, the people you leaned on too heavily, the titles you hid behind, the comfort zones that numbed your potential. When those things are stripped away, the real work begins. It's not about punishing you, it's about aligning you. Just like a bone that has healed improperly must be broken again in order to be set correctly. There are parts of your life that must be rebroken so they can be healed in divine alignment. Sometimes God allows the breaking not to hurt you, but to position you for the calling that requires a different version of you, stronger, wiser, and more surrendered. This strategy of breaking is also about timing. There are doors prepared for you that require you to be a certain kind of person before you walk through them. So the breaking is not just about what you're going through, it's about who you're becoming. Strategic breaking clears your vision. It removes the fog of distractions and refines your focus. It forces you to confront what matters most and prioritize what heaven has placed in your hands. It's not just pain, it's precision. And when you begin to recognize that, you will stop resisting the breaking and start discerning its divine intention. Brokenness is not the end of your story. It is the doorway to the version of you that destiny requires. Many people fear brokenness because it feels like failure, like something has gone terribly wrong. But in reality, brokenness is often the moment when things finally begin to go right. It is the sacred space between who you were and who you are meant to be. Before every transformation, there is a tearing away of the old. Before every promotion, there is a breaking of pride, fear, and limitation. You are not breaking apart, you are breaking open. And what is emerging is someone wiser, deeper, and more in tune with heaven's agenda. The version of you that is called to walk in purpose cannot be built on comfort, ego, or ease. It must be forged in authenticity. That is why brokenness is essential. It humbles you. It softens your heart. It silences the noise of performance and awakens the still small voice of truth within. In your brokenness, you learn compassion for others. You begin to see life differently, not from the surface, but from the soul. Struggle gives you eyes to see what matters. And in that clarity, you start becoming not the image you tried to project to the world, but the original design God had in mind from the beginning. Every broken piece of your story becomes a part of your becoming. The things you thought disqualified you, the loss, the mistakes, the heartbreak, are often the very things that prepare you to carry purpose with power and credibility. You become trustworthy because you've been tested. You become impactful because you've been humbled. You become stable because you've been shaken. Brokenness does not make you less valuable. It reveals your true worth. It strips away the excess and unveils the masterpiece that was hidden underneath. And you are not just surviving your breaking, you are being rebuilt into someone who can no longer be broken the same way again. So if you find yourself in a season where life has broken you, where nothing makes sense, and the weight feels unbearable, know this: you are not being buried. You are being planted, and planted things grow. You are not forgotten. You are not forgotten. You are not finished. You are simply in the part of the story where the soil is doing the deep work that the surface cannot see. Don't rush the process. Don't curse the crushing. Don't despise the breaking. Embrace it, because what is forming in you is greater than what is falling apart around you. There is a version of you on the other side of this storm that you have not met yet. Stronger, wiser, bolder, and more aligned with your purpose than ever before. When life breaks you, it's not to destroy you, it's to deliver you into the next dimension of your destiny. Let your breaking become your becoming. Let your pain birth your power. And let your story be a testimony that the breaking was the blessing in disguise, the moment heaven stepped in and said, "Now you're ready." Because in the kingdom, broken things don't lose value, they multiply it.